blessings involved, contracts. Welcome back, Pisces, to Pisces TV with Dr. MB. This is a very special reading, guys. For the transition, I know we talked a lot about Venus and Taurus energy, and as the full moon approaches, we are getting into Gemini energy. So Geminis ruled by Mercury. Communication, where air could fall in your chart. So we're going to talk about a little bit of a lot. If there are any blocks in your life, okay, or people that you may have been blocked from, that may have blocked you, I automatically thought about communication and internet and relationships and all kind of things. So welcome. Get in here, have a seat as we start this reading. Now, if you are new to the channel, take a look in the description box, as there's a link to the Etsy store and a lot of information about me. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram under iBonds, and all of my products and services, or if you're interested in booking a reading, is there. Now, if you'd like to join us on the other side, the link to Patreon is also there for all of my members, and I definitely appreciate you guys. As I didn't shuffle out the icebreaker, the icebreaker is going to be a little bit of information about eclipse and what that means for us, as well as Gemini. And I'm so excited about Monday being the moon's energy, and it's where the full moon kind of thrives. So some of you guys may have set intentions, have been trying to manifest, which the King of Swords, Knight of Swords, those are all manifestation elements there, you know. Or the Page of Swords, someone, you know, all the readings about someone watching you, you watching them, all of that kind of energy. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So where do we start first? We are going to start with Gemini energy. So with the Gemini sign and the house that it rules, and where that house falls in your chart, and how it could affect you. Okay, so let's see. We're going to start with, I can't see a thing, so give me a second. I took some notes here, so y'all have to be patient with your girl. When we talk about, can we just, some of y'all may be talking about love. I'm singing that song again. Mercury, Gemini, third house. Oh, remember the other day we had a reading with the Magician, the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, and I mentioned the 3 Wands. Well, what is that? What is it called? Not Old English, but you know, the numbers. Which one has the numbers like that? The Roman numeral 3 is 3 Wands, and Gemini and Mercury falling in the third house. Beside Taurus in the second house, duh, right? Because we're shifting from the Taurus energy into Gemini with this eclipse, and more so about Gemini today, with maybe Taurus energy being stronger the other day, and then how all of that ties into or morphing into Cancer in the fourth house and the moon. So we got Venus, Mercury, and the moon, where Venus is about love and harmony, and Taurus is about possessions. And then we have Mercury, which again, like I said, communication, and Gemini with the twins and duality of self or you and others, and then sliding back into your element of water with the moon, maybe coming upon, what is it, the first week of December. That's some good stuff. So those of you, even in your charts, that may have Gemini in the third house, right? It's ruled, and Mercury is ruling that energy anyway. But double emphasis on those of you who have the third house in Gemini, okay? It talks about originality, communication. For some of you, even disputes and information. So here is the Page of Swords energy where we're researching. We have questions. We want answers. There is an anxious to take flattering comments about your intellect and ingenuity, right? Your genius. So some of you could even be, I don't know how many of you have air in your chart or Gemini in your chart, but I know when you guys talk about Geminis, you sometimes categorize them as, somewhat narcissists that care about themselves or overly indulgent self, which is good for you, because what if, you're going to be indulging in you more, okay? It could also talk about short trips, taking vacations, or planning them. Your abilities and your desire to learn. So some of you, where you've been thinking about online courses, but they say, online takes more discipline than in a classroom. So it could even be talking about like how you learn or the way you learn, and how you perceive things as well. But communication was like overall for me with Mercury and Gemini. Everyday activities in your life also is an energy of third house. So it's like, what do you do every day? What are you thinking about every day? Who do you communicate with every day? Who are you not communicating with every day? So the questions you have, the things that you're interested in, how you communicate and who you communicate with, there could be a shift there. So as we get started, because I didn't want to make this full astrological energy, but I did want to incorporate the astrological effects as well as tarot with the reading, because that's what makes it special. And before we move into the cards, which are right here, they're waiting and ready. Ooh, some of you guys, this could be an increase of funds or some type of switch in your relationship for my singles. I also wanted to talk about, for those of you that could follow the Farmer's Almanac, or you're just into the moon cycles, this is the Beaver moon that we're getting into. And even though the Beaver moon or full moon reading will be posted tomorrow, I did want to throw it in a little bit as far as the energy that without giving away all the goods, right? And confusing you guys. The Beaver is a hard worker. The Beaver is working on a project, is working on home, right? Because they're always looking for little woods to build dams. Dams are significant and remind me of the Ten of Cups, where it could talk about crossing over, from one side or from one thing to another side or another thing. And I just mentioned a few of those things. And as we talked about duality and stuff like that, they're all very significant. What you've been working on, or maybe home and environment coming out of Taurus and Venus, is going to be important. Your partnerships, especially those that involve commitments, joint income, past life energy and contracts, all of that kind of stuff. So as I shuffle the cards to see what the current energy is, the current situation, dealing with the eclipse, not just the moon, not just, the full moon, as that will be its own reading, but the eclipse within itself. We have the Hermit. The Hermit is earth energy, and it also talks about like being in the shell. Now with the Eight of Swords at the bottom, I kind of feel the energy of wherever you could have kind of like avoided things could be magnified, because the Eight of Swords is feeling trapped and not seeing. And then for this turtle to be all squished up in the home, in the mind, in the body, in this shell with the light on top, it just says that, maybe some fears, okay? Some fears could present themselves, and, the eclipse sometimes does that as the Seven of Wands is usually my eclipse card, because it talks about that resistance of some sort, where the enlightenment of the sun and the shadow aspect of the moon, and then the energy of like awareness, and before we take action, whatever it is that we're struggling with, right? So we have the Hermit. Now the Hermit's energy, like I said, if not, and it's a major arcana, so this is very strong energy to come up as, you know, your first card of the current situation. But with the Hermit, and I think the Hermit is the number 9. 9 talks about completions. It also talks about endings. It is a very spiritual number. And you also had the 9 of Pentacles, which is more earth energy that I saw. It talks about wisdom, insight, inner guidance, spiritual completion. So some of you guys are coming into full power in your ascension, whatever you've been working on. I feel like, as far as because I have some members that are just kind of more interested in life purpose and soul path. So this could have even been, I don't want to say an initiation of some sort into like your rite of passage, but using your creative energy in genius instead of in the insanity, right? Because those of us that may have magical gifts or deal with higher vibrations, that does come with a lot of things. And I always said that with the Jekyll and Hyde energy and the genius being borderline insanity, maybe this is the borderline. Okay, and notice that I have the selenite here, which is also moon energy, so that's kind of cool. It talks about self-awareness. Some of you, a walk at night could be symbolic, so it doesn't mean that you like to walk at night or something is going to happen when you take a night walk, but it's about your introspection. Solitude for some of you, retreats for others, so a little break, like I said, a vacation of some sort. It could talk about, for a collective, how science is progressing, a master of some sort. So some of you guys could be going back to a course that was not completed, or just evolving in a level of self-mastery, seeking knowledge, esoteric knowledge, like the occult anatomy, the kundalini energy, all those things that we talk about. It also talks about being analytical and thoughtful and deep, quiet, peaceful, okay? And then, like I said, driving at night. So if I have any truck drivers or people who are taking, trips, you may even be thinking of things or see things as you drive at night. I like to drive and take trips. I'm more so because it's just the freedom of being on go, like not stopping, just my feet on the gas and watching my surroundings and just being free from being in the house or being at work or just stuck in one particular place. So it could be changes in the quarantine, or some of you could be dealing with isolation or loneliness, okay? What's crossing it, see, look at that. What's crossing it is the sun. So the sun card, another major arcana, and we go from 9 to 19. And notice that when I said this could be the border or the line, this could be our 1, right? And so this 1 and this 9, and then the 1 and the 9, and the duality of Gemini, whereas there's this hidden in the darkness on the other side, and here's this enlightenment. There's this isolation and deepness and calm and peace, and here's this liberation and dominance and, fire and willpower. So the sun card is one of my favorite cards, and right or wrong, true or false, it's always good. It talks about positivity and sunshine. Clarity could also talk about twin flames joining together to form one. So your relationship sector for some of you guys, a clear vision. And it also talks about fathers, sons, a masculine kind of energy, as well as fulfillment and contentment, okay? So because it's coming up as crossing you or a possible obstacle, or just like what's crossing it, we have the sun is Leo energy. So you may want to check where that falls in your chart. If there is a Leo in your environment, The sun card kind of coming up as an obstacle suggests that you may have taken on too much. And on a mundane level, the sun can forewarn of sunburn or skin cancer. So where we have this inside and outside kind of energy, just be mindful of your actual, I guess, intake of isolation and darkness and being in the house and the need to get out in the sun. Now, I don't know if it's because I'm up in the air. Like, I didn't want to say high rise and sound all bougie, but I've noticed that the sun has been a little hotter than normal. And as we go into December, you do know the story of religion where, you know, there's the resurrection, and the sun goes away and like pops back up 3 days later. Scientifically, which dates back past religion, no disrespect, it's where the sun is furthest away from us for so many days, you know, and then it talks about the time going back and the extra darkness that we face, and then the sun coming back, which is kind of like is it the winter solstice? So we could even be talking about that. And I know that the eclipse normally talks about a sun solstice, but I don't think that's what we're in right now. Just want to briefly mention that, okay? So again, with the sun's energy, no matter how bleak you may feel, the sun will always rise. The sun is steady and constant. It doesn't matter what happens on earth. The sun doesn't change. The moon phases may change, but the sun itself, it does not. So after the madness of the moon, okay, so any darkness or madness that the full moon, because we're all water signs and some of us are special, you know, frequencies and shamans and healers and starseeds. So sometimes with the moon energy comes like the purge, or you know how the wolves howl at the moon, and it's just a lot, right? So no matter what the moon madness may bring, the sun brings happiness close, brings a happy close of shine. Okay, so the sun shines brightly and makes the situation clearer. You may have mental clarity that is needed in a situation, and it can indicate a sexual romp, okay? Because of the boy naked and free in the card. Traditionally, I feel like that's the inner child and happiness, but some people sexualize nakedness with all of that, right? What else? Since we did talk about father and son, the sun can also predict a child, either a son or twins. And we are coming into this Gemini energy. So some of you guys are expecting, or what is that other word? I'm not a doctor, so don't take me serious. Not a medical doctor. But if you're conceiving or trying to conceive, you know, this could be good energy for those of you wanting to have twins or boys. And like I've already spoke on vacations and short trips and self-love, the sun can suggest that you may need a day spa. Little things like manicures and pedicures can make a person feel good. But I feel like a lot of us are going to have clarity in situations and relationships. Things that seem dark and unknown will suddenly become bright and very clear. Definitely love that. Now in the lesson, didn't I say this Page of Swords energy is what it felt like when talking about the eclipse with the Hermit card, and we have the Daughter of Swords. So some of you have a question, and I feel like that answer is going to come to you, and for some of you it's going to come from within or from the other side, whatever that means. If you meditate, it could, you asking your mama one thing and should be asking, you know, your dad or something like that. The Page of Swords also represents some form of communication, they say, like written communication. So a text message, I don't know, an email, if you're considering some intentions that you may have written on a new moon, something that you're trying to manifest by the full moon, or receiving some type of communication, okay? The Page of Swords is also spying, data, information, puzzles, secrets, and caution. So in the what you need to know, there's something about, like I said, the messages, communication, data, and information. So as far as a collective, it's just saying that some things that may have been hidden may now be revealed, and you never know what that brings. Okay, so if there's, I doubt it has anything to do with the election, as they have been very thorough with investigating that. This could even be immature thoughts, immature communication, and no disrespect to who you voted for or didn't vote for, but someone who constantly has Twitter beefs, and kind of is an immature air sign. It could have something to do with the current president and all of that kind of stuff, something being revealed just on a cosmic level. But the Page of Swords for you, in the lesson, if this is your love life, if you're single and get the Page of Swords, as we've already seen the Nine of Pentacles, you may be searching the internet for a date, or someone could be searching for you and then kind of come up on a date. The Page of Swords can indicate that someone may be spying on you to gather information, so just be mindful of that. Which, if this is a cosmic conversation, know that I worked in telecommunications most of my adult life, and when I started for a well-known cell phone company, they had already been spying in people's phones and stuff. Let's just say that, because I worked there when the app market hit. Okay, when smartphones hit, and I ain't even that old, it's crazy, but in the beginning of my adult life, someone complained about it. I think lawsuits were filed about it, and then ultimately now they have to make a disclaimer, which you probably don't read when you sign up for Apple Store, Android Market, or even buy the phones. Little bitty small print in there is basically saying this is what we're doing, and they're still not telling us the full detail of why. But when your information is sold, things that you type into your phone and your computer, access that these companies have through your microphone and your camera, not to make any of you conspiracy theorists any more nervous, but just saying this is, Gemini just shifted into North Node as far as the planetary alignment, and we are in this Gemini eclipse, full moonish kind of energy. So things could happen when it comes to online internet communication and messages, as well as your love life, finances, so on and so forth. So the Page of Swords, again, for my singles, I kind of drifted off there, but the Page of Swords for love can be defensive and interrogative. So like someone who asks, okay, I've kind of had that happen, and it actually was with the Taurus. It's crazy, but it wasn't, I don't think near the Gemini, but could be strong emphasis here. And I think I shared that with y'all, where he asked a whole bunch of questions right off the bat when we had just met, God met. And I felt kind of weird by that, because I was like, well, maybe I just haven't dated in so long, or I don't know how to date or flirt. But I didn't think so many questions should be asked so upfront, like my kids and our past and their dad and what happened with that, and just all of these personal questions. What do I do for work? Where do I work? Why do I? And I'm like, whoa. So keep in mind, depending on where it falls in your chart and your own personal habits, that this is a very analytical kind of energy coming up in the what you need to know. And for others of you, it just says that there's something you may want to know or need to know that you don't know yet, because the Daughter of Swords is the student and is observant, pushing me into communication. So the Daughter of Swords is a listener. And Gemini asks us to listen, not to respond, but listen to actually take in what's being said. So just be mindful of that when dealing with your life, and when dealing with your communications with others, to not fight a lot, to avoid suspicions. And then while I'm telling y'all about the internet and all of the things that may be done or not done through companies, it does talk about paranoia and being on the offense. So if you have dealt with a person like that, or if you have this energy kind of like in your natal chart, it could be a time where you're more suspicious of things, people, places, or whatever. And it is a full moon where trust and caution and overanalyzing things could come up. The Page of Swords can also indicate that, like I said, someone could be spying on you, or they simply like you a lot. and or they could have ill intentions. So be mindful of that. Okay. In the past, we have the Seven of Pentacles. This is how my stars align. And notice how the stars are spread around the Daughter of Swords. So this, like I said, in your personal lives, is if this is your ascension process and your spiritual journey, it's like the celestial beings, your ancestors, loved ones, whoever, the divine, the ascended masters, they are aligning, or things are aligning around you, revealing certain things, messages from the other side. So your spiritual gifts may even be heightened. Others of you where it's finances, my Seven of Pentacles talks about investments and also taking a pause to reflect, taking a pause to reflect and even listen for answers to come from within if you're dealing with confusion about what you're supposed to be doing or why. Okay. Now, others of you, whatever communication is coming, gifts that are coming, the Seven of Pentacles says something about past efforts. I like this. I was just going to say crowning your thoughts. I don't know if it's the Emperor or the Ace of Pentacles. I want to say Ace of Pentacles because it came out first. Now, crowning you for finances, bomb. For life purpose and path, bomb. Especially if you have these celestial beings, ascended masters, passed on loved ones kind of guiding you through this maze. And, luck up and get something new for yourself in this practical life. A lot of earth energy here. So the current situation is kind of like this earth energy, crossing this fire and this being observant. So the need to know is in Mercury. And then, like I said, 7 is always a lucky number for me, and also speaks to esoteric knowledge for others of you. And then here you have the Ace of Pentacles crowning you, which is your strength. So some of you could even have finances on your mind. The lovers could be thinking about this contract or agreement between the twin flames. And as far as your spiritual purpose and path, the Ace of Pentacles may say that you're looking to start new money-making operations, new careers, which is why these new courses and investing your time wisely would be important. It could also talk about our stock market and something to watch out for. But it's definitely new starts, new investments, new opportunities, abundance, wealth, prosperity, fertility, contentment. And see, we were looking for the contentment here in the current situation, and crowning you, staying grounded and practical brings you that contentment. Now, what I like for the lovers is the Ace of Pentacles could signify new grounded love affairs that are motivated in material or financial. And again, for those of you trying to conceive, the Ace of Pentacles does talk about pregnancy, abundance, love, or even deep sexual urges, which I don't really get from the Pentacles, but it could happen. Okay. It also talks about 1 year, and see, we keep coming up with that 1 year in a day type energy. But it spans all earth signs. So Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus, where I think this is Virgo energy. And we kept talking about, Taurus. So I definitely love that. The aces represent potential. I do like that. And is one of the more favorable of the Pentacles. If you're looking for the new job, or if you ask the question, it's simply yes. So some of you may be seeking answers or have a question. I feel like you're going to get more yeses than nos. I do like that. Now, in the near future, what I appreciate is this Five of Pentacles came out in the reverse. So there could have been some challenges in the past with your alignment, with your energy, with the planets. If you had past life situations, arrangements, commitments, the Five of Pentacles in the reverse is saying that you passed that halfway mark. You may be feeling more content and fulfilled within your life. And it also talks about those religious beliefs, family beliefs, breaking those generational curses and stuff like that, could also be coming to head because we go through the purge, and a lot of that energy just talks about kind of washing it free, especially if there were financial situations. They will improve. Better times are coming. Relief, finding a home for some of you, leaving but coming back home. So again, those short trips, and we are in the holidays, so some of you could be visiting your hometowns. All is not lost. Coming in from the snow or a bad situation and getting help. So the Five of Pentacles upright is not a bad card for me, as it talks about self-mastery, and it's inevitable on the road to becoming the King of Pentacles or Queen of Pentacles. But in the reverse just says that bad times may be coming to an end. Could be because of divine timing for some of you. Others of you that may have taken hits or financial losses, as the fourth quarter is not as abundant as other quarters. It could just be talking about extra help. Now, I do see synchronicities here. Not that I asked the question, so I'm not going to put it on the board, but the Eight of Cups, walking away from the confusion, unfinished business, past efforts, then having the Six of Pentacles come out. I just noticed the synchronicity in, I thought of the Eight of Pentacles, and then here we have the Five of Pentacles, and then the Seven. So it's kind of like 6, 7, 8, or 5, 6, 7. So I like those synchronicities here. Now, any challenges? Okay. We have Taurus. Some of you guys, I feel like the wounded warrior, that Taurian energy, Taurus being gift giver. And then here we are talking about those 7 cups. So beating a dead horse, a devastating ending, hitting rock bottom, and a time to rise. Maybe you've planted some seeds and you're waiting for ships to come in, and maybe it just wasn't that good. Others of you, there could have been no communication. And like I said, with the Seven of Pentacles talking about things aligning, or a mirror effect, you could receive communication where there had been no communication. You could also get new funds where you've gone through like some darkness, hitting rock bottom, or a bad time. I absolutely love that. Now, in the center of the reading, the environment is you, Pisces. This is the Hangman, not a negative energy. I know it talks about waiting, feeling stuck, waiting for answers, but guess what? The Hangman usually has the halo, and when that answer comes and it turns upright, it is the enlightened one. Now we have the Emperor, so it talks about some sort of stability, and it's like, for the most of you, what I feel is more solid, stable, grounded energy, whether in your love life, your finances, or in your energy. Because in the past, look at that, you may have had some sadness with the Five of Cups, not being able to accept things, holding on too tightly, and either things may have spun out of control for some of you guys, or there has just been a negative need to control. All right, and your hopes, I was gonna say hopes and fears, but this is so hopeful. Look at that. I like the star, Aquarian energy. I feel some of you are going to receive definite, it's like communication where there wasn't a communication. This may be a contracted partner, a twin flame type of situation. I also see the star as being your hopes, wishes, dreams, and aspirations. So for some of you that could feel stuck and not know what your path or purpose is, you will get those answers by going within. So try meditating more. It's very important. The star card, another major arcana, and coming under the sun. The sun is a star, right? Ain't it like one of the biggest stars or whatever? So this is like super, super duper magnified, amazing energy, where it's like stars and stars and stars, and then one huge star. So a lot about star energy. And again, a lot about conception, a lot about birth, a lot about fertility. So, like I said, with conceiving children, with starting new businesses, with starting new relationships, all of it is kind of like the same energy in different areas of your life, which is so cool. Possibilities, hope, faith, intuition, creativity, the light, and knowing, feeling desired and loved. It talks about destiny, clairvoyance, your mission on earth, what you're here for. Music, dance, artistic energies for some of you. Cosmic energy, and you notice I've kept throwing that out there every once in a while. So cosmic energy relating to stars and metaphysics, spiritual development, renewal, rejuvenation. So this even says that what this eclipse is doing is way bigger than, your love life and your finances. It could be doing a cosmic kind of shift for star seeds. And it's like, am I a star seed? Am I not a star seed? we can do a reading and see if it comes up for you. But I feel the star seeds are going to get information, I feel, from Ascended Masters, because I'm looking at this card and I'm thinking about Archangel Gabriel with the scroll, the Akashic records, and the connection to Metatron, and how I've always tied Metatron to that King of Swords card. And Metatron, you know, always ask us to control our thoughts and our thinking, and how that kind of, you know, for those of you who are religious, it was just kind of like an energy of why people suffered in life, and it has something to do with their thoughts, and how their thoughts cause certain actions, and how actions cause regret, and then reincarnating with the same energy. So just kind of like renewing yourself, or realizing that you're walking in circle in a maze, you know, and so now you step into your higher self. So that's pretty dope. It also talks about the light at the end of the tunnel. Here's the light on the Hermit. Here's the light in the Star. And I like the clarity, good health, karma, for better or for worse. And it talks about calm after a storm. So here is this storm flipping, where the worst has probably already happened. And this is the calm after the storm. And I absolutely love that. So the outcome I have is also another card in reverse. The Five of Cups that we recently saw, where the Father of Cups has learned some lessons. Now, when I think about the Father of Cups, missed opportunities when it comes to business deals. So communication that may have been lost. If you have, like, you thought of, okay, let me give you an example. I don't try to put myself into your shoes, but there was an instance of this guy made some beats, I don't know, so long ago. And I've told y'all this story, so at least I'm consistent. But this guy made beats, and I wrote some really cool stuff to his beats, but this was like 9-10 years ago. And then I saw him on Twitter, I don't know, maybe a year or so ago, and I remembered that I think he's in Los Angeles or somewhere in California, and I was about to get ready to move to California. So I was gonna, you know, reconnect with him, and I ended up talking to him through Twitter. So it's kind of like some hope, dream, or ambition that could have been lost, being rediscovered or coming back around for you. And then when I talked about business or a missed opportunity in business, I was just gonna say, if there's anything that you wanted to do, it could be coming back around. A missed opportunity in love, for some of you guys, or I feel just happiness in your energy, where you may have looked at things from the glass half empty, and you'll use your logic and your intellect and less of your emotions to kind of see it as just a glass. I usually say looking at it as half full, but you don't even have to do that. Just saying that it's a glass and there's something in it without being so judgmental. Putting things back together quickly, healing faster, and like I said, the glass being half full can also mean a reconciliation, or ability to like move on from past hurt. So I love that the Five of Pentacles and the Five of Cups are both in the reverse for you. And then as I talk about the Father of Cups, I feel like this is for my water signs that come into this level of completion and contentment, because that word has been used so much, to come out of the shadow side and be more into the light, or into the more dominant energy. So not putting others' needs before yours, or not being so emotional. With the Five of Pentacles here, and us talking about beliefs and religion, the Father of Cups could be, you know, not being so judgmental of what's good and what's bad and what's right and what's wrong, because sometimes, which I say all the time, we manifest our own karma. And some people say, well, how do we do that? Because they like to blame the universe, or they like to blame God and say, you know, karma's going to get you because what you did to me was wrong. And it's like, no, the universal laws do not have human behavior. So it's not always saw in a sense that someone did you wrong. So you could be coming into that clarity. And then as far as karma, when I said, now this isn't true, false, right, or wrong, it's just something I think, that karma is self-inflicted by a guilty conscience. And so you could do something, the source doesn't always agree with me, but that's fine. I trust me. You could do something And, you know, on the outside or your conscious mind, you could say, I'm doing this because I'm angry, or I'm doing this because of whatever reason it caused you to take that action, right? And this also talks about swiftness too. So moving fast, doing something without thinking, and then later regretting it, which is also the Father of Cups energy, where you hold in your conscious, like, you know, if you've had a bad breakup and you say, I'm gonna be a dog, I ain't gonna love nobody, I'm just gonna do me. But deep down in your conscious, that's not true, right? And then building blocks to keep yourself stuck in certain situations and wonder why they keep happening. It's about releasing yourself from certain areas of consciousness, religion, and spirituality. And like I said, right or wrong, true or false, integrity, and all that kind of stuff. But I like it. I absolutely love it. I did see the Emperor in reverse. And since the Emperor in reverse came up, and since we're looking at the Father of Cups, it could also be, you know, talking about addictions and fears. So just be mindful of that with the full moon. Trying to be without doubt. And then, like I said, watch your possessiveness or controlling energy, since we're talking about Taurus and love and Venus and the Emperor and the King of Cups, to not be kind of trying to control the situation out of love, or out of fear, or out of resentment. Just like you shouldn't resist situations that come up with finances. And now I'm thinking about Tesla. When we talk about the 3-6-9 rule and stuff like that, there's something about acceptance and contentment in that. And if you're not in a place where you want to be, because I ask myself these questions sometimes when we feel stuck in certain cycles, how do you actively work to get out of a situation and accept it at the same time? Like, there's this thing of, if I accept it, I'm saying I deserve it and I'm okay with it. And it's like, no, I just don't have fear that I'm going to be stuck there. So I accept, you know, oh, I'm living with a friend, or, oh, you know, I don't have a job, or I don't have the lover that I want, or whatever it is that you don't have that you do want, right? Like a car, or friends, or a lover, or more money. Accepting that you're single doesn't mean that you're content and it's just going to stay that way. It just says that you're not lashing out and creating blocks and lying to yourself about being single, like something's wrong with it, that you accept what it is right now, and that you don't fear being stuck there and try to control other situations or overly emphasize in the ego about how you don't need it, stuff like that. So I do appreciate that the Father of Cups kind of like graced us with his presence walking out, and then here's that 9 of Pentacles again. And like I said, for some of you completing a cycle, what I do like about this too is that the world and Saturn with karma, good or bad, past efforts. Some of you guys could be released from karmic debt, and others of you guys, it's like, could get a pay increase or come out of these financial storms because of some self-inflicted karma, or where your astrology chart links up, or something about your connections in the past, which is why this contract is right here as your strength. So I don't know what that means for you. If you'd like your own personal readings, I'm always available. And until next time, Pisces, namaste.